All right, I think we're doing pretty good on time. So we'll take a look at tags. Tags are pretty important. At least I put some importance on them. Let's say that this is, if I think this is important, you'll notice up here in my tags group in this tag selector box, there's an important tag. If I click that, then it puts a star beside that thing that I thought was important. There are 29 total tags here in the desktop version of OneNote. In the online version, not so many. You have a few. You can always create your own tags, but by default, there are only a few tags here in the online version. A downfall, I suppose you would say. But again, you can create your own, so it's no big deal. If you need more tags, you just create a new tag and you're all set. We have here beside the tags select window, we have a to-do tag. And you'll notice that that's one of the tags here in the window. And what this does is it gives you a checkbox option. And you can create your own to-do list. All right, you type in the first one, and this is handy. When you press enter, it knows you're creating a list of things to do, so it's going to automatically give you another checkbox. So you create your checklists as you go through your day-to-day things, and you complete one of those items, you click the checkbox, and it puts a red check mark in there for you. Handy dandy. These are reusable, so when you're done and you want to reuse this list, you click the checkbox to turn it off. So for recurring tasks, this would be really handy. There are other to-do list tags. I'll just move my insertion line down because you have to remember that it puts these tags wherever your insertion line is. So if I was to leave my insertion line here in this bottom to-do item, and I come down here and I add something else, it's going to add that tag to your list. So you can create multiple tagged items. It just depends on what it is. You know, if this is a to-do list for project A, then you can add that. Maybe that, or project B. Maybe this is a to-do item for project A. You can always add multiple tags to your lists. But I want to come down here and I'm going to show you there are other to-do list type of items. Anything you see here in the tags that has the checkbox, these are per se to-do list items. There are things that you can use the checkbox to check off with. So we'll put in here discuss with person A, and you can modify that person A. You can modify these tags and you can specify who person A is. So let's say I need to discuss new project with Shelley. And then when I press the enter key again, I'm creating a to-do list type of list, so it gives me another checkbox. So I'll put in here all right. And if you press the enter key twice, it'll get rid of the last empty, and then you're back to just typing stuff. All right. But if I do get this one done, the discuss project B with Sharon, I click the check mark or the checkbox, the check mark goes in, and that particular item is done. Now, if I was to go to a different notebook, let's add a page to this or a different section, and we'll call, well, I'll tell you what, let's add another notebook. I'm going to add another notebook. So add notebook, and I'll call this, oops, add notebook. and I'm going to save it to this computer, and I'll call this, if I could spell, School Notes, example School Notes. I'm going to save it to the default location. I'll put this in where my other notebook is. So I'll click the change location. I'll go to my desktop, to my OneNote class files, and I'll say create the notebook here. So there's my new notebook, my example School Notes. Again, if I want to rearrange, I can click and drag and move it up. I can change the name, I can change the color, all sorts of fun stuff. I'll make this one red. I'll come to my new section. I'll call this address book, and we'll call this class contacts, and then I'll add a page and I'll call it teacher contacts. I'll come back to class contacts, and I'm just going to come over here somewhere towards the middle just because for me it's easier to see, but you can put them again anywhere you want to. And I'm going to make this a contact. I'll say my first contact, John Deere. And then I can add an address. If I have an address for John Deere, I can click the address and make this an address. Say 123 and there's my first contact with the address, and I'll come down here and I'll add a second one, contact Jane Dozer, and then I can add the address. You notice the shortcut keys it has beside it. If I do a Control-9, it'll add the address tag, and we'll just put Sixth Street, My Town, USA. So there you go. There we have our address book. So one of the good things, one of the benefits of using tags is here in the tags group, you'll see there is also a Find Tags button. When you click that Find Tags button, it opens a tag summary pane over here on the right side, and it shows you a list of every tag, and for me it's in all notebooks in my current library. So all these books, it's displaying every tag that it finds in all of those notebooks. See, I didn't add any of these to the new workbooks that I created, but they're all there because it found them in all notebooks. If I just wanted to find in this notebook, I can select this notebook. All right. So there's in this notebook. I'll switch it back to all notebooks, because in the all notebooks you'll see here's my to-do list. Do this, do that, and these are put in some sort of alphabetical order. I haven't quite figured out exactly what it is, but if I want to go back and look at this, then these are actually links that take me to that page. So if I go back to this page, all right, so this is it picked up a to-do list in my personal notebook. If I deselect the check mark here in my tag summary pane, it deselects it on my page. So they are interactive once it's created. So if I click the check mark here in the do this, you'll notice it does not show it here in the to do over here unless I tell it to refresh results. Now it shows up. So from here to there, it's automatic, but from here to here, right, from the notebook to the tag summary, you have to refresh. Easy stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this notebook. And I'm going to close this notebook so that we're only dealing with our two notebooks. We have our example work notebook. And then we have our school notes. Now, if I refresh this, all you see are my address tags. But what happened to the tags in my example notebook? Well, they're all located here in this project notes. And it's in a group. So if I bring this section out of the group, there it is. And now if I refresh, now you'll see that it picks up all. It will not pick up tags that are in grouped sections because it looks at that as one section and it doesn't break it down that far. So now you can see all these other tagged items. So if I want to go to discuss with, and they're here and they're there, there's my wherever. So tags are very handy, very handy. Okay, if I'm over here and I need to go find a to-do list, but I don't remember where it was, I can just open my tag summary with the Find Tags option and then go to my to-do list. The online version, very similar. If I go to, I'll go to my personal notebook and I'll just add a page here and I'll call this stuff. And if I add a, let's say I add a to-do list, right? Thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. And then if I come back here to my daily reminders and I add a question, and then maybe I go to my Python tab and I add I'll learn something new. This is a tag that I created. Learn Spanish. So you'll notice that there is no Find Tags button up here for the online version, but they do have a search over here. So if we click on that to open the show search field, then it gives you the different tags that it finds. So if I wanted to find my to-do list items and I click on to do, and these are all my to-do list items in this book. So again, if I click thing 2, then it takes me to thing 2. These checkboxes in the online version are not interactive. They are not interactive. There's my do this, do that we saw earlier. And now if I wanted to find my learn something tag, it wasn't in the options. So I can just come up here and tell it learn something. And there's my Learn Spanish. So it takes me to my Learn Spanish tag. So similar functionality, not quite as open and abrupt in the online version, but the functionality is still there for tags. To create a tag of your own, you simply click the More button, which is the bottom button here. That's called the More button. And then you scroll down to the bottom and you click Custom Tags. And you just come up here, I'll click Client Request and then New Tag. And I'll call this Onenote Notes. And you can change the font color, you can add highlight to it, and select a symbol. I'll use this blue O for 1, and then click OK. So there it adds my new tag to the bottom because this is where I selected, and then it just adds it below that. And then you click OK. So now I can come down here to the bottom and I can add my Onenote Notes here. If I could spell. There you go. And when I press enter, since this isn't a to-do list item, it doesn't automatically add a second one. So I would have to click the tag to add another one. So that's tags. There's a bunch of tags. You can create new tags. They're very simple. But as I showed here, they're you can use the tag summary to find whatever you want. So I can go by tag name, by section, by title, by date. By section is usually the easiest. So we'll call that quits on tags. I'm going to show you real quick what styles are. Styles are very simple. They're here in the styles group on the ribbon. You have multiple styles, and they're simply to apply easy, consistent formatting to your notes. Say you were creating an outline to use to create your 5-page essay. You can use styles to create that outline. All right, there's your main topic, and then when you press enter, it goes back to normal text because it knows that headings are only applied to single lines. So I can take this based on what I know, and I can drag it over, indent it. And then when I'm ready for my subheading, I just click on heading 2. Subheading 1, press enter, and then it goes back again to normal text, and you're ready to go. There are a few special ones. There's a page title, which just makes it really big. There's citation, which as opposed to normal text. Okay, if I add citation, it changes it, and I change it back. Then you also have, and these are just quick formatting changes. You can go to code, and when you type code for programming, it gives it a different look from the normal text so that it just stands out a bit. So you can use these for their intended purposes, use them for whatever you need. But also remember that you have the different options over here. You can change the font, you can change the font size, you can change the font color. So I mean, you can create your own headings, but they're not, I mean, you have to keep going back and recreating and recreating and recreating. These will always be here. Okay, these will always be here. So that pretty much does it for tags. Get out there and experiment, explore some of these tags that are out here. Create your own. If you create one that you decide you don't like, for example, this feed animals, what a stupid tag. You just right click on it and delete the tag, and then you can start over creating a fresh tag. So again, practice, practice, practice. Get out there and dig in. Don't be afraid, you're not going to break anything. So this we'll call it quits for section 3. And I'll say see you later because I know you'll be back for the next section. Take care, stay healthy, and be safe. Bye-bye.